Today on an all-new Dr. Phil.
From day one, you fought with me.
Have you coached these children to say things about him?
Never.
How did the youngest refer to him as Bad Daddy? Did you post on MTV's Bully Beatdown to elicit somebody to beat this guy up?
It was a joke.
I'm not laughing. Did you beat a dog?
I've never beat a dog.
Did you see him beat the dog?
Yes, I did.
What I just want to say to these parents is cut it out. Cut it out.
She did get arrested.
I am a good mother.
My oldest daughter's been brainwashed.
I am not brainwashing my children.
Somebody here is blatantly lying, and I am going to get to the truth. This is going to be a changing day in your life.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
It matters to you. That's what I want to talk about. Are you ready in the booth?
Take.
Let's do it. Go, Dr. Phil. Now, Christy says it was love at first sight when she met Michael. They married, had 3 kids, divorced, and now, 10 years later, it is war. Christy says it turned ugly with her ex-husband the day he announced he wanted custody of their 3 children. That'll do it. In the last year, there have been accusations of kidnapping, physical abuse, domestic violence, withholding of gifts. The list just goes on and on. Take a look.
I initiated the divorce.
It was almost like, now I'm going to get revenge on you. I'm going to try and take the things that you love most, and that's the kids. I saw the true Christy.
He threatened me, saying, I have endless amounts of money to bury you, and I will do whatever it takes to get those girls away from you. I'm terrified Michael will hurt the kids. I've seen it, and now I'm not there to protect them.
Christy called the police and told them my dad had kidnapped our youngest daughter. My dad subsequently was pulled over by 4 squad cars in the middle of a street and searched. My ex-wife Christy posted an ad on MTV Bully Beatdown looking for somebody to beat me up. Christy has been physically abusive to me. The final straw was when she did hit me when we were arguing over a chair.
It was a tug of war. Mine, mine, mine.
When she knew I was not going to let her just take it, just that quick, crack it. Hit me across the face.
And I just kind of fell off it like this. I fell into the chair because I had been ill and not steady on my feet. Only possible way is if when I went like this and brushed off, something happened. I didn't punch him, and I didn't slap him.
They called the police, arrested her, and had a jury trial, and they found her guilty.
Had me arrested, spent a night in jail, which I never want to do again.
It really is unbearable to see your kids suffer and see their lives so chaotic.
Well, Michael and Christy don't have contact with each other right now. For visitation drop-offs, they avoid each other, which is frankly probably a pretty good idea. Now, I'm going to have each come on out here and have a seat now. Michael, Dr. Phil, good to see you. Christy?
Hi.
Phil, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Tell me, whichever one of you wants to say first, what's your goal in being here today?
My goal in being here today is to protect my children. My girls want to be with me. And they are scared because he has hit them. He has left bruises on them. Another reason why I filed for divorce.
What's your goal in being here?
My goal is to get her to stop putting our kids in the middle of situations they shouldn't be in, and for us to hopefully one day learn how to parent these kids and make their lives better than they are right now.
You guys recognize that this is, at this point, a chaotic war between exes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. What's your contribution to that?
Probably the biggest thing that I own, some of my biggest downfalls, is communicating with her. There's such a lack of trust.
Well, that's kind of a left-handed criticism of her.
Okay.
Look, Guys, come on. I'm not very happy with what's going on in this situation at all. I assume y'all want the truth from me?
Oh, absolutely.
You really do?
Yes, I do.
Even though you're not going to like a lot of what you hear?
Yeah.
Because, look, I've been doing this a long time, and you guys are screwing this up in a big, big way. And make no mistake, you can get self-righteous, you can get sanctimonious, you can point the finger at each other, but your children are the ones that are paying for this.
Exactly.
And you may think that you're going to win this battle.
There is no win.
But I'm going to promise you the day will come, if you alienate your children from him, if you alienate your children from her, they will resent you for that before this is all over with. They know if they're being manipulated, they know if they're being programmed, they know if they're being biased, and they will figure that out, and it's going to come back and bite you. What's your ownership in this?
My ownership of this is trying as best as I can when the girls are at my house to make sure that Michael's name is never in a negative light, making sure that they constantly communicate with him.
You never say anything negative about your husband? Your ex-husband?
My ex-husband?
Yeah.
I can say some things negative about my ex-husband, but I do not do it to my girls. I do not speak to my children as, your father is this.
Okay, let me ask you something. First off, I don't believe either one of you are being honest with yourselves here. I just don't. On January 10th of last year, did you post on MTV's Bully Beatdown a post to elicit somebody to beat this guy up?
Yeah.
Did you do that? I mean, come on. Are you kidding me? You said the following things. He's hit me before, but the fact that he would hit my daughter is repulsive. He needs to be taught a big lesson. If there's anything you think you can do with this punk bitch, please let me know. You posted that?
I did.
About your children's father?
Well, that's not his daughter. It's his adopted daughter.
Is that a good idea?
No, it's not a good idea. It was a joke. Bully Beatdown is a show.
I'm not laughing.
Well, I don't. And I'm sure he was laughing about it. Look what I got on her now. I can try to take him away from her again.
Okay, well, if that's what if you're keeping score, then that's one for him.
Oh, okay.
No question. But this isn't about keeping score. I don't care. You two clearly are at odds. Okay, it happens. You know, seriously, it happens. People get married, maybe shouldn't have to begin with. They change, things happen, the wheels come off. I get it, it happens. But I'm talking about the impact on the children here. And you record her a lot, right?
Yeah. When I know I'm going to have contact with her.
Well, you know you're going to have contact. You record her.
Yes.
Okay, and you've been glad you did a few times because she made allegations that the tape seemed to refute. But it's interesting, when one person knows they're being recorded and the other doesn't, that's not really fair, is it?
Yeah, I believe it's fair.
You think that's fair because you know it, so therefore you say, good evening, how are the children? She doesn't know it, and she's mad because of something you've done, so she's volatile, and you're saying, well, perhaps you could calm down a little bit. I mean, you know, it's like you're reading from a card. Is this really what this has come to? This is a man that you loved at one point, right?
I did, yeah.
Y'all slept together.
Not enough.
You ate together. You traveled together. You shared a life. You shared these children. And now you're calling the cops on each other and recording each other and putting up these. We'll be right back.
Don't touch me. I never touched you.
This recording kept me from going to jail or being arrested.
His husband slammed me between the door and the brick.
of the home.
I was actually holding my youngest daughter. Christy pushed me in the back.
I went to the emergency room. I had contusions, possible fractures.
The police department called me and said that I had slammed a door on her or something.
Christy said she had an altercation that resulted in her going to the ER. Now, each tells the story a little differently, so I prepared a graphic that lists what he said versus what she said. Now, keep in mind, all this drama occurred over 2 days. You say you waited 5 hours for the children. Sat in the driveway, waited 5 hours for the children, right?
Yes.
Okay. Christy says, I took the kids for their safety. Did you tell them why?
They didn't know that they were seeing him that day.
Okay. Michael filed a missing persons report.
Yes, I did.
Christy says, I didn't tell anyone where I was going. Michael says, approximately 23 hours later, Christy called and said, where are you? Christy says, I was home before 24 hours. Is that a trigger point, 24 hours?
He never made a missing persons report. You can't do that until 24 hours has passed.
Yeah, so you got home in 23 hours.
I spoke to the police and my lawyer.
Yeah.
And yes, I did get home in 23 hours.
Yeah. Christy had Christmas gifts in trash bags. You gave the children Christmas gifts.
Gave my oldest daughter Christmas gifts.
Right, your oldest daughter Christmas gifts. You put them in a trash can liner?
No, that's actually how they arrived.
Okay, you said kids didn't want the gifts. Here they are back.
My eldest daughter did not want the gifts, exactly.
Okay. Michael says, I turned and left and she pushed me. She pushed you. Christy says, well, before he left, he slammed me in the door, so you went to the police and the ER.
That's correct.
Right? Okay. Now, Michael happened to record the incident. Let's hear that.
See you later.
Did you just push me? Don't touch me. I never touched you.
I said, I don't hear any doors slamming. I wouldn't put it past her to do it to herself. This recording kept me from going to jail or being arrested.
Did you want him arrested when you went to the police?
No.
You felt like you'd been assaulted, so you wanted him arrested?
I had been assaulted, but you know what? I didn't call the police on him that day because I didn't want our children subjected to seeing their father being arrested right in front of them. I have a little bit more respect for my children than for them to see their father like that. And he's recording me all the time, and I'm the one that has issues?
Do you have issues?
With him, I do, yeah. I do have issues with him.
Are you still in love with him?
No, I am not.
Have you been in love with him since y'all split up?
It faded pretty quickly since he turned ugly right at the very beginning.
Yeah, at the very beginning.
Yes, when I told him that I was leaving him.
Well, you've actually called him and professed your love to him.
I had in the past, yeah.
Michael says after Christy filed for divorce that she would call and ask him to take her back. And he recorded one of those conversations. Let's hear that and let you respond to it.
18 months later.
Every day, I wish that I didn't do this. Every single day. I know how bad I up. You know how fragile I am. Why wasn't I enough to fight for?
What do you expect from me?
I want you back. I want what we had back. And you always will be who I want to be with. I have never stopped loving you, stopped being in love with you, and I have never, ever been unfaithful to you. No matter what happens, I will never be able to move on. So can I come over?
Not right now.
I miss you every day of my life. I just want to see you.
Do you remember that phone call?
Actually, that was a couple of phone calls feeded together.
Is that true?
No.
That's one phone call?
That's one phone call.
And when was that phone call?
I don't remember the exact date, but it had been in 2009.
Why'd you record that phone call?
I started recording the phone calls or any of our interactions with each other as a way to protect myself. And these are just the things that I got recorded through that process.
Do you think that's fair? I asked you that before. You think that's fair?
Yeah, I do think it, because I think it shows you see people's true side.
But don't see yours. You know it's being recorded. That's the problem with that. You know, you see what I'm saying? It does give you information about her in a candid sense, but it doesn't give us any information about you in a candid sense. So it's kind of an unfair comparison, right? Because she hasn't recorded you when you've been mad, when you've been upset, when you've been emotional. You don't have those recordings, do you?
I never did.
You understand that that's a problem?
Well, I guess I don't see it as
I spent 15 years as a litigation consultant, and I spent a lot of time in trial with this sort of thing, and I'm always skeptical of it when one person knows it and another person doesn't. It is information, but you have to really take it with a grain of salt. Now, 8 days after the divorce was finalized, Christy got engaged to Anthony. We're going to hear what he says about this, and then we're going to talk about some of the allegations that you've made against him that you think are legitimate reasons to be concerned about the safety of the children. All right, we'll be right back.
Michael abused our dogs. He kicked my dog in the head.
I love dogs. I've had dogs my whole life. She accused me of beating our dog, Bo, to the point where he has irreplaceable leg damage or something.
I honestly don't know how Michael feels about the new puppy, Charlie. The girls are afraid when they leave. They say to me, Mom, I really wish we could bring Charlie here because I'm afraid of what Daddy is going to do. Michael kicks him out of the way.
It was a very outrageous comment, but again, it was something else that she got my oldest daughter to believe.
Well, Christy says she filed for divorce because the straw that broke the camel's back was because Michael beat one of his dogs with a flip-flop. Now, Michael denies this. Christy also claims that Michael kicked another dog in the head and he died the next day. What do you say about that?
I say they're lies. I've never beat a dog in my life.
You didn't
I've never
kick
kicked a dog in the head.
Kill it?
I've never killed a dog.
Did you beat a dog with your flip-flop because he ate your flip-flop?
No. I've never beat a dog.
Never beat a dog?
No.
Okay. And did you see him beat the dog?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Now, somebody here is blatantly lying, and I am going to get to the truth. If I was on the bench and you were in my court, I would find out who was lying, and the consequences would be dire. You are playing with fire here, you guys. You're playing with fire. If I was involved in that and I found out you were lying, that'd tell me you were lying about a whole lot of things. And so I would have serious concerns about your fittedness as a parent. If you were making these allegations falsely, and you were therefore pointedly alienating him from his children, I'm telling you that would have dire consequences here. And so I'm trying to warn y'all before this happens. I don't know. Who's lying here? Are you lying?
No.
Are you lying?
No, sir.
Okay, one of you, do you realize one of you's lying?
Yeah.
Either you're lying or you're lying. You can't both be telling the truth here.
Yeah, that's why I left him.
You filed a CPS complaint against him.
No, I did not. The pediatrician of our two younger daughters and my oldest daughter saw bruises on the 4-year-old.
You have a female pediatrician.
Yes.
You took the children there.
Yes.
You reported and showed her these bruises, correct?
I didn't show her. The children did.
You didn't know there were bruises on the children?
Well, that's obviously why I took them to the doctor. Yes, I knew there were bruises.
Okay, then why
on
are
the
you
kids.
splitting hairs with me? You saw the bruises on the children.
Yes.
So you took them to the pediatrician.
My concern is where they had come from, because they were not in a place that bruises normally would happen. The doctor also felt a little concerned, so she called CPS. She was the one who initiated the social service investigation. I was not.
So your point of correction for me is that you didn't file a CPS report.
You asked me something about the doctor that I didn't understand.
Okay, well, I asked you if you filed a CPS report. You then gave me the mechanism through which it was filed, which is a distinction without a difference. You initiated this process and a CPS report was filed. If you believe your children are being abused, you should file a CPS report. If you're doing it to get leverage, then you are parading your children through an evaluative process that is traumatic on its face. So what was the result of the investigation?
She decided that it was excessive discipline, not abuse. I beg to differ.
So they found no cause to go forward. We'll be right back.
My 4-year-old child came home with bruises. She was starting to well up, like her eyes. And she said, Daddy hit me. I was livid. Around this area right here is where I would find bruises. You would have to have been left-handed. My ex-husband, Michael, just happens to be left-handed. I am right-handed. Spots are always here, or they're here.
I've never spanked them.
Do you spank the children?
No, I don't.
Do you spank them a little bit, a lot, or not at all?
Not at all.
Have you been to counseling with your daughter?
Yes.
Does the counselor think the child's being coached?
Yes, the counselor has said everything she is telling her, she is being coached to say those things.
Mm-hmm. It's a different story that she gives me.
Different story that who gives you?
The counselor.
And what's the counselor tell you?
She doesn't think she's being coached.
That's actually in the CPS report.
Oh, it is, huh?
Yes, actually it is.
Okay. Why don't you fight for Mr. Bowe if you loved him so much? So when you hit with the flip-flop.
Why fight over that?
Well, you fought over everything else. Why not the dog?
Because I don't want to fight. Because it's ruining our kids.
From day one, you fought with me. Yes, I know. You're doing a good job at it.
Have you coached these children to say things about him?
Never.
How did the youngest refer to him as bad daddy?
That was her choice. I said, honey, you should not call him that. He is not bad.
So
I mean, I did it in a it wasn't a okay. I didn't negatively coach her. I guess, by me saying, you shouldn't call him that. He's your daddy. Because I have to encourage their relationship as much as I don't want it all the time in their face. I have to encourage them before they go over there.
If you believe he is abusing your children, why would you encourage the relationship?
Because the courts don't like it. They don't believe me, so.
Well, the courts don't believe you, and the police don't believe you, and the counselor doesn't believe that you're being straight with him, according to the CPS report.
The counselor never said that to anybody, according to the counselor.
She said it to you and then said something different to you.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I've just been doing this a long time. I've just never seen such disparate reports. Christy's fiance says that he has seen bruises on the two youngest girls when they return from visiting Michael. What have you, Anthony? Thank you for being here. What do you have to say about this?
The children come home and they just start talking about what's going on and what happened at Daddy's house, and Daddy's always mad and Daddy's always yelling and Daddy doesn't play with us. And the 4-year-old kept rubbing her side. And I asked her what's wrong with her, and she said, Daddy hit me.
How do you explain that?
I don't hit my kids. My oldest daughter's been successfully brainwashed. And I can see the wheels in motion to try and get my two youngest ones to be brainwashed in the same manner.
Mm-hmm. Well, Christy's fiance, Anthony, shared a piece of artwork made by middle daughter Taylor. It says, Dear Daddy Tony, I think you're like the dad I never have. Love, Nugget, Tay-Tay/Taylor. What do you think about that?
I believe my two oldest kids, if they've figured out that this is what they want me to say, this is what they want to hear, and they figured that out already.
And you're doing battle as well, right? Like you had her arrested, you had her falsely arrested when you said she punched you in the face.
I did not falsely arrest her. Yes, she did get arrested for hitting me.
Did she, knock your teeth out or something?
No.
No, I'm serious, I don't know.
No, she didn't, but...
Did she split your lip? Did she break your nose? Did you really feel like at that point you needed police protection?
I didn't need protection, but that doesn't matter how much damage is done, is it? It's still against the law to do that.
but you made a decision to put your children's mother in jail. Again, bringing a third party in here. Why did you call the police? I know you had the right to call them. Why did you call them? What was your objective?
To hold her accountable for her actions. It had no, if you're thinking, ulterior motive for the kids.
I'm trying to get in your head and figure out what it would be that would cause you to want to have the mother of your children arrested and put in jail. And you spent the night in jail.
Yes, I did.
Okay, how'd that go for you?
It was awful. Because I didn't do anything wrong. I just told the truth. I said I may have made contact with him. I never hit him. I never punched him.
Is everything you're saying here today truthful? Have you exaggerated things? Have you lost your temper and spoken negatively about Michael in front of your children?
4 times took me to court. 4 times for full custody of the girls, with me having visitation rights, supervised visitation rights, when I have done nothing to the children.
Why doesn't anyone believe you? The court doesn't believe you. The court doesn't believe you. The CPS doesn't believe you. What I'm trying to say is there anything you can change that calms this situation down?
If there is, I would love to know what to do, because every single time we have gone to court, more and more dirt is flung, and it's typically flung in my direction. So when the motion is filed by his attorney, then I have to answer the motions, and it costs money. So I have to defend myself to not lose custody of my children.
All right, we'll be right back.
Christy is alienating our children from me. Her fiance admitted in court that they badmouth me several times a day. But when the kids come to be with me, that first day, there's what I would call a deprogramming phase. And it takes some time for them to start acting like their normal selves. I feel Christy is putting my children in the middle of situations that they don't need to be in.
Okay, what do you say to that?
I just seeing my children. He just distorts things so well. He just turns them around. I am not brainwashing my children.
Well, you say that he doesn't let Tiffany communicate with you when she's at his house.
She's not allowed to communicate with me via text.
Did you really think that his father had kidnapped?
I never said that he was kidnapped, that she was kidnapped. He doesn't know he wasn't there.
She had called 911 and told them my dad had kidnapped my youngest daughter.
And you didn't say that?
No, I never.
So if we get the 911 tape and play it, won't say that your daughter's been kidnapped?
No, I said my daughter quite possibly could be in this truck. Because my father saw our baby girl, Alexa, being put into Grandpa's truck. Okay, you have to go through the whole day.
Did you call the authorities and say, my daughter has been taken, abducted, kidnapped, absconded with, anything at all?
Maybe taken. Then, if that's kidnapping, then fine.
I don't know.
It is.
I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. I'm trying to get to something.
No, nobody. This is so frustrating to me. Because
you should be in this chair.
Yeah, you should be in my chair.
I want these children to have both of their parents in their lives. I mean, because I know the impact if they don't. He has told the courts that you are an alcoholic addict. Mm-hmm. Is that true?
No.
Is that true?
An addict, yes. Christy always had an illness, phantom back pains. There was a period where she had back pains so extreme that we were making frequent trips to the ER, and they never could find anything wrong with her. And then she became addicted to painkillers, Vicodin. My oldest daughter would tell me that she had to get our youngest daughter out of the crib in the morning because Mom couldn't get out of bed, and that was pretty scary.
Well, Areva Martin's an attorney that specializes in family law. She's Harvard educated, specializes in this very thing. Areva, you've been watching this unfold, and I'm telling these people that they are putting themselves and their family in harm's way by not maturely working out something that they can both live with here. What do you say?
Your advice is excellent, Dr. Phil. I mean, everything you've said is so on point. And what I just want to say to these parents is cut it out. Cut it out. Cut it out. You guys obviously love your children, and I'm not here to advocate for either of you. I'm really here to advocate for those kids. And Dr. Phil, I'm so surprised. All the legal documents I've read, why the court hasn't appointed a lawyer, a guardian ad litem for these kids. They need one so desperately.
Yes, they do.
Where is the love? Where is the concern? Where is the mature adult decisions to put all of your problems with each other aside and focus on your kids? I haven't heard anyone talk about that. All they're doing is this, Dr. Phil.
If you represented either one of these sides, could you not wreak havoc on the other side in court given their conduct?
There's enough, Dr. Phil, in these documents and these emails and texts that I've seen that one of these, either of them, could be in jeopardy of losing complete custody of their kids.
That's what I'm trying to say to you. Even, let's assume for a minute, okay? Let's assume for a minute that everything you allege here is correct.
Yes.
Is the manner in which you are handling this the right way to handle it?
Through the court system? Yes, I do.
Okay, all right. If everything you're saying is correct, do you believe that the way you're handling this is the best way to handle it?
No, and I would like better ways to handle it. That's why I'm here. I'm here because of my children. I have never once tried to take the children away from Michael. Never once. I have never done that.
Do you want these children away from her?
No, I don't want them away from her. What I want is for her to stop putting them in the middle of all these situations.
Why did you file 3 motions and now just the 4th for full custody of the girls if you don't want them away from me?
Are you not better off to sit down and say, look, we were married, it didn't work. But it wasn't all negative because we have been blessed with these children. Mm-hmm. If you believe that he is a danger to your children, I understand why you would be concerned, but I don't really think you believe that he is that evil.
I don't believe that tape portrayed me as what I really feel at all.
So straighten that out.
Straighten it out?
Yeah.
There's one thing that I am, and I know this. I am a good mother, and I will always be a good mother to my children because I love them with all of my heart. They are my heart. I'm not saying what he did in this tape is an everyday problem. I'm not saying he's out there all the time kicking dogs and, you know, just beating my children all the time or, you know, exposing my now 13-year-old daughter to this. She is the one who's told the counselor this. I have a journal of all the things that she said. She keeps a journal of what happens at his house.
I have a letter here, and Christy provided a 2-page typed single-space letter that she says was written by her daughter Tiffany when she was 11 years old to Michael.
The therapist encouraged her to write that.
Yeah, Michael has never seen the letter, and here are a few excerpts. She's talking about you. Quote, you treated me like garbage. Quote, watched you try to hurt my mom. Quote, never treated me like a daughter after Taylor was born. Quote, made my life a living nightmare. Quote, makes me sick to think I loved you when I was little. Quote, you are a very abusive and angry person. Quote, ugly Michael comes out when we're home alone. I have to be completely honest to tell you that the phraseology here, the sentence structure here, The thought process here doesn't sound like it was written independently by an 11-year-old girl.
Her therapist was there.
And I'm not saying that you wrote it, and I'm really not. I'm not even suggesting. I don't know.
I had nothing to do with it.
She does have other things here. This is kind of a private journal. This is much more in the vernacular of a child. I have a hard time believing these were written by the same people. And she's very negative about you at this point. You realize that?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, she's very, I'll just suffice it to say, she's very critical and very negative of you. Which really, I'm sad to say, that should tell the two of you that what you're doing is not working. We'll be right back. The sum total of what y'all are doing, I'm already seeing the impact on the children. Do you get that? This isn't a victory that she's writing these things about.
No, it's not. It's sad. It's very sad.
That's not a victory for either one of you.
Sad.
It's sad.
Breaks my heart.
Because let me tell you, these children, because you're going to have a joint custody situation, at every time that should be a joyful and celebratory circumstance for these children, they're going to feel like a rope in a tug-of-war. They're going to be felt like they're caught in the middle because we don't have adults that are selfless enough to step up and say, my emotional agenda goes on the back burner, your emotional agenda goes on the front burner. You are who I live for. You are what will cause me to tell myself, no, I'm not going to do this. We are fiduciaries for you. We put your interest ahead of our own, and we're going to make sure that we interact in a way that brings joy to your life.
I've tried from day one.
Well, that needs to happen. And
I've tried and tried and tried and tried.
I'm sorry.
I'm not trying hard enough? How do you think I feel? These are my children.
Stand up. What did you want to say?
You have to grow up. Be the parents.
Tell me why you're so energized about this. Why is this so close to home for you?
I have a miracle child. Many years ago, there was a very sudden split between her father and myself. I said I'm going to be the strongest mother I can be for my little girl. It's so hard to suck it all in, but you have to do it. It's your responsibility.
And I'm glad you made it through it. Okay? I'm glad that you made it through it. I'm glad that your ex-husband didn't drag you through court.
Hold on. Listen to me. I want to be focused right here, right now. Both of you are so convinced that you're right and are so in a righteous fight for survival. You've got to stop the competition here. I will find you a mediator. I will find you someone that is skilled in family dynamic, that understands the ad litem point of view for these children, that will sit down and work out with you a plan that you can both live with. Because if you continue the combat, whichever one of you prevails, the loser will be your children. So will you participate in what I'm talking about?
Absolutely.
You will come to the table and participate about it.
Every single time I am supposed to be there.
I believe you. Will you participate in that?
Yes, I will.
You're going to have to both agree that when you walk in that room, you both agree that this will not be used against either of the other in any court proceedings. It has to be absolutely focused on the children. Okay? We'll be right back. Well, if you and an ex are in a standoff and you're both willing to come here to work it out, you can go to drphil.com. You can tell me your story. I really appreciate both of y'all sharing today and talking about this, and Anthony for being here. Special thanks to family law attorney Ariva Martin. Thanks for being here. I appreciated your input. I want folks to understand that if you can work this out among you, instead of bringing in an authority from the outside who can make any decision they want. And it's hard to unring that bell. Once they render an order, to get that reversed is really a problem. We'll have a link to Ariva's site on drphil.com. She is an amazing child advocate. You'll find some interesting resources there as well. Thanks for being here. So long.